So the Yankee season ended tonight in the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm not going to sound like a salty Yankee fan. I will give the Rays all the credit in the world. They were the better team in my mind. They had the better pitching, better bullpen. I mean, Kevin Cash was raving about their bullpen, and he was right. I mean, look, even in a game like Game 5, where none of their starters were really ready to go a full game, they pitch Glasnow in the beginning. They throw in Nick Anderson. They throw in, I think, Fairbanks, and then they throw in Castillo, and they all looked great. I mean, the Yankees mustered one run off of those guys. So, I mean, look, I got to give them all the credit. It sucks. This is now the fourth year in a row where I feel like the Yankees had a core that could have and maybe should have won the World Series or even made the World Series. I know back in 2017, the thing with the Astros wasn't really fair, but it is what it is. And, I just feel like the Yankees roster-wise are a really good team. I feel like they should have made a World Series by now, and it's frustrating. I don't want to sound like a spoiled Yankee fan that expects to win a World Series every year, but when you look at this team and just see the names they have on this roster, it is frustrating that they haven't made it yet. Now, I still think they're an ace pitcher away from being there. I know people thought maybe Garrett Cole is the missing piece. I know not having Luis Severino this year, they weren't really at full strength this year, I will say. They didn't have Domingo Germán, who could have been a big piece of their starting rotation. So when you're in a ALCS starting guys like Jordan Montgomery, who was good, I'll admit, Devi Garcia for one inning. I mean, that's another topic to talk about. J Happ, who wasn't good. Tanaka, who, he wasn't that great this start, in this series, I should say. So I have to admit that. But, Garrett Cole did his thing. He was good game 1. He was really good in game 5 here. He gave them 5 1/3 really good innings. I know Gardner robbed a home run. That kind of saved the run for him. But all in all, I think Garrett Cole did a good job. I mean, he didn't go above and beyond and pitch like an 8-inning shutout. But I think he did a really good job. So, it is what it is. The Yankees, they definitely need another reliable arm in their rotation. I would say maybe even 2. I don't know who they're going to get. And people speculate Trevor Bauer. I'm sure there's other names out there. I guess we'll talk about that in the future video about who they should get in the offseason. But, it's just frustrating because, they have this great lineup and they just seem like every year got shut down in the postseason. And whether it was against Verlander, Cole, it just seems like those were the guys that were doing it to them. And now Cole's a Yankee, but here they are getting shut down by, Glasnow. They did well against Blake Snell in the first game, I think, but just the Rays bullpen was just phenomenal. I really can't say anything bad about it. I mean, really, the guys I named before, they were great. And look, I give them all the credit. As I said, they were the better team in this series. And once again, their season comes down to Aroldis Chapman, him blowing another game in, basically a very huge moment. Of course, last season it was Jose Altuve in Game 6, I believe it was. He hit the hanging slider. Maybe he knew it was coming and it was unfair, but, even this year, there's no excuse. Brasseau hits this, 10 pitch at bat, basically. Has this great at bat. The 2-2 pitch, you can argue maybe was a strike. I don't think it was based on the strike zone. It looked a little inside, honestly. But he worked a great at bat and he hit a home run. I mean, it barely got out, but a home run's a home run. So he got his revenge on Chapman like a little over a month ago. Chapman threw out his head. I feel like people probably know that by now, but I guess good for him. But Chapman the last 2 years. I mean, this is a guy they're paying a lot of money. He's supposed to be the reliable one in the bullpen, but it has not happened. Now, I'll admit, Chapman's had a good Yankee career overall, even back, before he got traded. But when you look in the postseason, which is most important, especially for Yankee fans, it hasn't been great because in deciding games, or in big games, I should say, in big moments, he's given up some really big home runs to lose the season for them. So it's not all his fault, but I'm not totally out on Chapman, but it's just unfortunate because if the guy was able to get out of those situations, he wouldn't be known for just being bad in the postseason, but that's probably all Yankee fans know Chapman for now, and they probably have no faith for him in the future. And look, I can't say I'm surprised. I did have the Rays winning this series 3-2 before it started, but just to come this far and be all the way in Game 5 and lose a 2-1 game with a lineup like this, it just says a lot. And then, have guys like DJ LeMahieu go 0-4, Giancarlo Stanton go 0-3. He had a walk, but still. Luke Voit 0-3 with a walk. Gio Urshela 0-4. Who else? Brett Gardner 0-2 with a walk. Higashioka 0-2. I don't know why they pinched hit Mike Ford. That made no sense to me. I feel like Mike Ford hasn't played in 2 months, and they put him in there. I didn't really understand that one, but maybe the analytics department had something to do with that one. And I know some people will call for Aaron Boone to be fired. I would be pretty surprised if that happened. I don't think Boone's going to get fired, especially 2 or 3 years into being the Yankees manager. I don't really see that one happening, but, I guess crazier things have happened. But, I don't know if it's like they need to work on their analytics stuff. I don't know if it's like a boom problem with some of these decisions. Like the bad decision, of course, was game 2, how you throw out Garcia for 1 inning. I know he didn't have like the cleanest inning. He gave up a run, I believe, but then you put Jay Happ in. He gives up like 5 runs, and then game 2 is a pretty deciding factor in the series. The Rays take all the momentum there. They win the next 2 games in a row. Yankees get one back, then it goes to game 5. But, game 2 was a big one. The Yankees could have won up 2-0 in that series, and I have no idea why they put Garcia out there for 1 inning. It made no sense to me. But, as I said, for the Rays, I give them a lot of credit. Meadows hit the big home run. Maybe Judge robs it if his head doesn't hit the top of the wall. I think it would have got out either way. I think that ball was a bit too far to get. Brasso, we talked about hitting the home run. And I talked about their pitching. Glasnow, Nick Anderson, Fairbanks, and Castillo, they were phenomenal. So it is what it is. I mean, we'll talk about what the Yankees should do in the offseason in a future video. I'll probably just throw out some names, and it's going to be interesting because I feel like some guys, they might be done here. I think Gary Sanchez is a name that comes to mind, a guy that was basically benched the last 3 games in favor of Kyle Higashioka, which is pretty surprising because, Gary Sanchez is a big name, and if you're just not a Yankee fan, you might not know who Higashioka was before this series, and now he's the one starting. So I don't know what they do with Sanchez. They have like an arbitration type thing for him in the offseason. We'll see if they reach a deal, but if not, then it might be goodbye for him. I'm trying to think who else might be gone here. I'm not really sure. Hopefully they get a guy like Tommy Kahnle back, who they definitely could have used this series, but, I don't want to make excuses. It is what it is. The Rays were the better team, as I said, so good luck to them. I'm going to root for the Rays because there's no chance I want the Astros to win. That would be terrible, so I'm going to root for the Rays. I guess it'll be tough. I don't really like either team, but if I had to pick one, we'll go with Tampa. So good luck to them in the next series. Don't let the Astros win, please, but disappointing end for the Yankees 4 years in a row. I mean, maybe next year they find a way to make it work. Maybe they add one more big arm in the rotation. We'll have to wait and see, but until then, it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Comment what you think the Yankees should do in the offseason, your reaction to the series, and I'll talk to you guys next time.